By default, when you set up your blog post, they look something like this. And I'm sure you can agree with me that this needs a bit of work. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to transform this design, which is pretty much basic, out of Divi, and transform it and make it look like this. So as you can see here, this is a total transformation. This looks way much better, and it has also scope to be optimized and make it look however you want. You can add opt-in forms, you can add pretty much anything to this design. But I'm sure you can agree with me that from here to here, this is a much better design. So I'm going to show you step by step how to use the theme builder to come up with this design. Now, before we get started, I'd like to remind you that if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my web design formula course, a course that teaches you step by step how to become a professional designer from scratch. All you have to do is to buy Divi using my affiliate link. And once you've done that, just let me know either via email, or if you go to funnelstoincome.com on the bottom right, if you click on the support tab, you just add your invoice number in there and I'll be able to send you the course. All right, without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. All right, so the first thing we need to do is to head over to our theme builder. So we're going to come all the way down here to Divi and then click on Theme Builder. So this is where we're going to design our post template. So now I'm going to click on this plus button and I'm going to go to all posts, because this needs to be applied to all the posts on my site. I'm going to click on create template, and this is going to be the template for all my posts. Now over here, I can remove the header if I don't need to have the same header on all my posts, but you know what, in this example, I'm just going to leave this as it is on there. Right, so the main area that we need to go to here is the main custom body. So I'm going to come over here, build custom body. Now this is going to take us now into our builder. So I'm going to build this from scratch, and I'm going to start off with, let's go with a single column. Go ahead and select that. And in that column, I'm going to add text module. Okay, select that. So this text module here, I want it to be dynamic because I want this to pull the actual title of the post. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to say post or archive title. So that's dynamically going to do that. All right. So now that we have that all set, I am going to save this. And on the top here, I am going to add a background color that goes across my main heading. So I'm going to come over here, go to background. And then I'm just going to choose my color here. I mean, to be honest, I can go with really any color that I want. It just needs to be a color that you have on your color palette. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to go in and choose my color. So I'm going to go with this. Okay. Now it's time to work on my text. So I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to go into my module here, design. And then I'm going to click here on my text. Now let's go to all caps, and over here I can play around with the colors now. So I'm going to click here on my color picker, and the color I'm going to play around with here is let's see what we can go with. Right, so let's try this one here. In fact, I like that. Right, so next I am going to make my text bigger now. So I'm going to come over here to my text size, and I'm just going to add, let's just try 5 VW, see how that looks. And that's a bit too much. So let's go down to about 3 VW, and let's make it bold, because this is a title here. So it looks much better if it's really bold. And also, I think I'll have it centered. I think I like it centered. Okay. Right. So let's look for our bold, and here it is. I'm going to set it to bold. And just in case we might have two lines like what we saw earlier on when I increased the size, let's just adjust our line height over here. Okay, so bring this down. Okay, so 1.7. In fact, let's go to 1.8 as my line height. So now that I have that, you can see here it's very easy to change my colors. I can just go in here, change the background color, and boom, it's done. Now, if you want to have, let's say, something more more universal, like maybe it's a tech website and you like to use your grays, you can always go in and change the background color over here. So the reason why I added this color here was just to show you how easy it is. So at any point while you're working on your site and you decide, you know what, I want to change colors, you can just come over here, change your color there to white, or you can just make it a slight gray because that's a bit too much. Okay, and then you save that, come over here to your background. You can go to your background as well, and you can just change this to a really dark color, and you can even go with a dark gray like that. So that's how easy it is to go in and change your colors, and this will be applied globally across all your posts. All right, so I'm going to stick with that for now. And then the next step is to add another module here. So I'm going to click on this plus button, and this needs to be a text one. So I'm going to add my date here. So let's see if we can add our date. Yeah, post publish date. There we go. And what I'm going to say here is I'm going to say published. Okay, published on colon and space. So this is going to be before I add this dynamic text. So you'll see once it refreshes here, it's going to show my date here, and that will look really nice. Now I'm going to save this, and then I'm also going to come over here to my design, and I'm going to center it because everything else is centered. So I'm going to click here on text. Then I'm going to come all the way down here and center it. Now you may also go further and add the author of this article. So you can go in and add, many items as you want here. You can also add social media icons. In fact, you know what? Let's add some social media icons here. So I'm going to save that. Then I'm going to come back here, let's click here on this plus button and search for social media. So here I'm just going to add a few. I'm just going to duplicate this. Let's go in and Facebook, Twitter. Let's add Instagram here. Let's go back. And what's the other popular one? Let's see. Instagram. Okay, let's just put YouTube. All right, so now I have all my icons. Now, what I normally like here when I design using these icons is to just go in here and reset item styles. So this just gets rid of the colors. Reset item styles is what I need. So you just want to go in and just do this to all of them like that. Next, I can now add my color. So I can just go over here to design, icon, and I can then customize my color over here. So I can just change it just to whatever I want that matches my website. So again, let's go with a light gray. And what I can also do while I'm here is to add a hover state. So on hover, I can choose my color here, and let's say I want to go with, let's go with this orangey color on hover. Okay. And then finally, I want to center all this. Right, so if you want to center it, all you have to do is to come over here to alignment, and then you want to center that. So you can choose here whether you want to have this here on the top, on the bottom. So let's see, I would rather have the publish date on the top and then the social media on the bottom. But of course, it's your choice. Next, you can go in now into your section settings here, and you can then choose to add section dividers. So over here on dividers, I'm going to add my divider here at the bottom. And I can choose my different styles. So I could go with, let's go with this one here, but we want it reversed. So let's see if we can reverse that. There we go. So now I've just reversed that, and let's increase our height. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's bring it down to about 80. Okay, that's looking great. And finally, oh, in fact, not finally, let's head over here to our header spacing. And here I'm going to add 5 VW because I want my header nice and big. And this needs to be applied both to the top and the bottom. And if you feel it's not enough, you can just add this by just nudging it up like that. Okay, so now that we have that all set, what you can also do here is to take a look and see how things look on mobile devices. So I've just clicked on this one here. I can click on that. And as you can see, things look pretty cool. All right. So the next step now is to hit save. Okay. Now I would like to add my image now. But anyway, as I look at this, I think this header area here is way too much. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit. Okay, let's go with 5. All right, so the next step here is to add another section. So I'm going to click here on this plus button, regular, and this time I'm going to add a single column like what I did before. And in that column, I'm going to add an image. I'm going to select that. Right, so this image here is going to act as my featured image. So I'm going to delete this, and then I'm going to come over here and set my featured image over here. So this is going to be dynamically added onto my site, which is really cool. All right, so now that I have my featured image here, what I can also do here is to play around with my positioning. So I can use negative margins. So I can drag this all the way up like that. And again, I'd like to see what this looks like on different devices, and that looks okay. And that looks okay on there as well. So, okay, so far so good. We have our featured image. We have our hero area here, all looking great. All right, so the next step now is to add our post content. So I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to search for our post content over here. So this is what's going to represent our information on our blog. So now that I have this all set, I can go in here and I can go to design, spacing, and I can just add 0 over here. I don't want any padding and I don't want any margins here. And then I can go to my text now and change this to my favorite font. And you know, it is that. I'm going to change it here as well. There we go. So you can see here, all that has been updated. I can save this now. And pretty much this is what our layout is going to look like. All right, so now I'm going to save this. Okay, so next I'm going to close here and save changes. So now all my changes here have been saved. Now let's take a look and see what our post looks like. So I'm going to refresh this. And there we go. So this is now my post. It has all my content in there. And this looks really, really awesome. So if I go in and I decide, you know what, I want to go in and reduce this image size, because as you can see, it's just way too big. Once you go back over here, you can customize this, make it look smaller, and this change will be applied pretty much across the whole website. All right, so let's have a look. Once this image loads, we're going to go in and adjust the size. So I'm going to go over here to my row settings, design, sizing, and I am going to reduce my width. Let's go with 60%. Save changes. Save this one more time. And now let's refresh this and see what that looks like. Okay, so you can see it's much smaller, but as I'm looking at this image here is not really proportional. Normally what I do is when I use my images, I have it at 1280 by 720. So this one here is a bit, it's a bit off. So I would go into Photoshop and resize it and make it look much better. Now, as I mentioned, with this layout now, this is how it will look like across pretty much your whole website. I can see here, this text here can be increased a little bit, and I can go back over here and say, right, I want my body text here to increase. So I'm just going to bump it up to about 16. In fact, you know what? This needs to be applied to all of it. There we go, 16. I'm going to give this some line height as well. Right, so now it's much easier to read. And I'm happy with that. So let's save this. And we're going to close this, save it one more time. And then over here now, when I refresh, you're going to notice that my text is going to be much bigger and it looks much, much better. All right, so this is pretty much how you design a custom post layout for your blog post. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe and bell notification. By doing so, you'll be notified when I release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.